Armentorart.com, artfreewill.com. Hi, and welcome to my second YouTube video. Now, when I watched the first YouTube video, it made me kind of nauseous. And probably would anybody else who watches it. So, there's a lot of good information on there. It's totally off the cuff. Watch it if you want. And might want to take some seasick pills first. This time I got a little better arrangement going on, but I'm not sure how clear you're going to be able to hear me. So I'm going to try to really project my voice. So I'm going to put on an actor's voice here, so bear with me. I don't normally talk like this. Well, maybe I do when I'm lecturing somebody, but you can ask my son about that. I'm sure he's had a couple, as have I, and everybody else who's ever had a dad. So here we are. This is another piece that I did, back in 2008. And I was going through a phase back then where I really wanted, for whatever reason, to have some scaly look and some depth. I went on that rant for a couple of years, and it got some interest. I was painting motorcycles back then, and I think I was really kind of tired of the really fluid lines that people like. Let me disconnect this fan here. Yeah, make it a little bit easier on us. Okay, so I decided, hey, I'm going to do something a little bit different. It wasn't super popular in the motorcycle world because I never got really a motorcycle job, somebody asking for that. But as far as fine art goes, I think it's pretty neat. The technique is very involved from a technical standpoint. So how it works is I use one of these. I'm sure many people have seen a freehand shield. Okay, these are commercially available. You just buy it. It's nothing special that I made or anything. It is made by artists, though, other airbrush artists that have made them, and I thank them for that, because I tell you what, these things are really pretty cool. So the technique is that you go in and you rough it all out freehand. I don't use a stencil or anything. I don't really make any measurements. That's why it's kind of off. My son calls it organic symmetry because it's not exactly perfect, but then again, in nature, really what is. I would say I do a pretty good job of keeping things straight per eyeball. I might make a couple of marks on the exterior just so it isn't totally crazy. Because I have had some pieces that when they were done, I was like, oh man, I wish I would have done something for control. So, maybe on this one I did, because it looks a little straighter than some. The piece is called Evil Orchid. It's automotive paint on sheet metal, base coat, clear coat system. I use House of Color right here. Good stuff. Highly recommended. This is a crater eliminator if you have some congestion in your line when you're doing clear coats, but obviously I'm kind of haphazard here. I don't have the perfectly clean paint shop that I'm using, and I only do little stuff. It's not like I'm painting a car back here. I'm not trying to ruin the environment or anything. It's just real small. I capture most of it with these filters. I don't clear here, obviously, but I'll show you that on later videos. So here's the technique. You take your eye water airbrush in one hand after you have it kind of fleshed out, and I just freehand it in there. And when I freehand something, I typically use two hands, but that's a luxury you don't have when you're doing freehand shielding. Freehand shielding, just like it sounds, you hold it in one hand and you spray in the other. So it can look a little bit mechanical, I think, sometimes, but it's kind of neat. It doesn't bother me. I don't mind the mechanical look. So after I have it fleshed out, and if it's a dark background, I do it with light paint. If it's a light background, I do it with white paint. On this particular one, I base coated some forest green, some kind of HOK green. Looks real good. I like that green. So I came back in with white and laid it out. And then each time I wanted to make one of these little scales, I put the freehand shield up there, and I actually physically spray it at an angle. Okay, that's kind of a bitch. You can see that I'm really holding this freehand shield in kind of an awkward way. I think this is actually the shape that I used right here. See that right there? Well, sure, it started giving me problems, especially when you're doing motorcycle tins or something like that. It can be highly problematic because, you know, it's hard to get angles when it's in a static position. So I'm a pipe fitter by trade, a sprinkler man. Sprinkler man artist, yeah, I know, kind of different. But I made this pipe stand here to be positionable. So all it is some nipples that are put together fairly tight so it doesn't fall over, but loose enough where I can move it by hand. And yeah, right there, you know, I just kind of put it where I need it. Takes two hands. And that way I can vary my angle of attack. It's very useful, and it keeps you from getting all contorted and getting, you know, running into yourself here. So yeah, you get in here like this, man. Look at the ease of that, as opposed to trying to get it like this, you know, where your cup's all tilted back and it just isn't going to work. So I struggled with that for a while. I did a lot of different stuff. I'm not afraid to spend money on something when I'm passionate about it. I think I probably blew a few $100s just jacking around with different stuff, just generally, you know. I spent a few $100s on this particular, but, you know. But it all worked out in the end. This is what it looks like. Get this crap out of the way. I should have done it before I started the video. But like I said in my last video, I want it to be real. This is a working shop. It's very confined. I live in the Heights in Houston, and, well, everything is kind of confined around here. Everything's pretty tight. So here it is. It's just some nipples put together with a union down at the bottom for when I want to get it out of the way, or if I want to twist it over here, I got another union where I can loosen this up. I didn't want it loose so that it like move around too much on me while I'm working the piece. Even though it's not designed to hold air pressure, water pressure, obviously, I use Teflon tape just to make it smoother, you know, just to smooth it out, because Teflon's really a lubricant, not a sealant. You know, let's not talk about sprinkler fitter stuff because that's not really relevant, but, you know, my trade did allow me to use some of my pipe fitting techniques to make a better shop. And being in construction my whole life really helped out a lot because, you know, I just have access to some materials that get chunked in the dumpster and you would not believe what gets thrown away on a job site. It's insane. It just costs too much to bring it back to the shop and store it, so they just chunk it. So on the other side, I just have a real simple floor flange with a few bolts in it. It's a piece of wood. And I don't even know where this came from. It might have been part of an easel that I sacrificed. Yeah, so it's simple, works. Copy it if you want, if you're an airbrush artist. It's really helped me out a lot. I got a little floor flange down there, so, you know, let's say I'm doing something and I don't want it, my easel right there, I can just take it off from that union or take it off from this union, or I can unscrew the whole thing and do what I need to do, and then later on I put it back together. Really, really handy. Took me a while to come up with it. So, hey, you know, take advantage. I learned a lot by watching other artists and how they did things, for sure. I got an Iwata Micron right here. Fabulous brush. I've got an HPC right here. Another fabulous brush. I mean, this is a workhorse right here. I use this one a lot, even though I have the Micron. You know, I tend to lay out with a bigger brush, and I really couldn't even tell you why. The Micron's a little bit fussy, maybe. Oh, I didn't clean this thing good last time. But, that sucks. How that happened. But the HPC is just, man, it's awesome. I love this brush. I have a couple of them, you know. Sometimes you get carried away, different kind of paints and stuff like that. Really simple, easy to clean, even though I didn't really seem to clean it last time. But it's resilient, it really won't matter. It's not going to ruin the brush. It's a good idea to keep it clean. I think I was shooting some one shot, and on a car we bought, it had a bunch of paint chips on it, so I shot some one shot over it, and maybe I didn't clean up these brushes good enough afterwards, because with that one shot, you know, urethane enamel, it's really sticky. You know, actually it was coming out when I had the diffuser on the front of the brush. It was coming out in stream, so I had to take the diffuser off to even paint with the stuff, which was kind of interesting. I've never really tried that before. So that's it for that. I don't know what that is. So back to the painting. Right there. Hope y'all can see that all right. Pretty sure you can. I kind of rigged up something to make it easier to watch me without feeling like you're on the Titanic going down or something. So obviously, when you come in and you do your white, then sure you could leave it like that. It looked kind of cool, like a skeleton or something. But I wanted some color, so I came back in with some red paint, some HOK Apple Red. Really neat paint. It's a base coat candy, they call it. It's got some candy kind of see-through properties, but at the same time, it's not like regular candy where you got to add the hardener and all that, because that would be a real pain to airbrush with. Obviously, I don't think that would probably work at all. So after I put the red down, I do the whole thing at one time. I came back in with the yellow. Of course, you can see the yellow here. And kind of popped it in and out, brought it out here on top of the white, the red. Kind of see there where I struck that line. And like I showed you earlier, I just hit that right there. Bam, bam, bam. And, you know, you got to be steady. You don't want to drink too much coffee before you start. You're going to hit that same spot every time. So I hit it with the red, I come back, well, I hit it with the white, I come back, I hit it with the red, then I hit it with the yellow, and I might come back and hit it with a white again to make it a little hotter, you know. Like in here, little white spots. So after all that's over with, it looks kind of, you know, it looks kind of washed out without a darker value. And, you know, who likes washed out looking stuff? I don't like it. So I would come back in with a darker value. See that darker value right there? But I'm kind of fussy. So after I put the darker value in, I still wasn't happy. I came back in and put a little yellow on top of it. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, James, that's not yellow. What's this guy talking about? That's kind of more of an orange look. Well, that is part of the interesting thing about color and urethane paint. I've never really experienced it anywhere else, but if you leave it yellow, it'll turn green on you, and the green looks like crap. Some barely bled through right there. You see it? Just a little bit. I mean, you know, maybe I can only see it. I don't know if the camera can pick it up or not, but didn't like it. Wouldn't like it. So Mike Mavelli, the guy that does the True Flames, he goes back over it with a tangerine candy. That's, you know, I learned it by watching his videos. And I just come back and I hit it with a tangerine. The hard part is to keep it from looking fuzzy on the edges. I think I did a pretty good job, you know, overall. Got a little fuzzy to it. Sometimes I take and blend that into the design. You know, I brought some of this black out of it to sort of distract the eye. Oops. Because obviously, you know, this isn't real, so it's all a matter of illusion to get this certain effect that you want. So if I could say the more tricky parts were certainly in here, where there's a lot of detail, one on top of another. And, you know, sometimes it didn't end up exactly with the way I wanted, with the values quite as dark as I would like. I'd say overall, it's a really nice piece. Gets a lot of attention. I never really had it for sale. only one time, and that was a fiasco. It wasn't really even me trying to sell it, and it just was not a good thing. So I think it would probably it'd sell if you're in a mind to sell your work. Anyway, I like it. I've had it around for a long time. I'll probably just hang on to it so I can make YouTube videos about it and bloviate. Okay, well, that's it for my second YouTube video. If you like it, hit the like button down there. Subscribe to my channel. You can check out my blog where I bloviate about other stuff, artfreewill.com, and you can check out my art website. It's got a lot of stuff like that on it. It's armentorart.com. I sure thank you for your time. Appreciate it. And have fun airbrushing. Where's the off button on this thing? Oh yeah, I got the stick over here. You should see what I'm using to make this video. It's a little wild. It's actually just a saddle that I use to carry my phone. I got wired to my paint storage bin. Bye! See you.